All right. Good morning to our YouTube family there. Great to have you all, Business Express.
My glasses. Should not come with the caption. Good morning, Business Express. That's okay. That's what good presenters do.
But they can't hear you, can they?
No, they can.
So climate change.
Fatima said you read the news really well this morning. Well done, Kay.
Business Express.
Good morning, ladies. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It's time for Business Express 981. And of course, leading conversations, as always, is Rotus. Rotus, good morning.
Good morning, Kayode. Good morning to all our viewers. Good to be with you all. Today, we're doing a recap of oil and gas. And we have, of course, with us an oil and gas analyst, Dipo Oladende. Dipo, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, good morning. Thanks.
Good morning, Dipo.
Technicians.
All right, guys, to be a part of our show, you know what to do. If you don't, let's tell you. Please send your messages to 0809-444-0981. We're also streaming live on YouTube, so please check that out. It's youtube.com/smooth981 to be a part of our conversation. Also, leave a comment there, and we'll respond as quickly as possible.
All right, great stuff. I guess, Dipo, just to recap, this one of the biggest headlines this year was climate change, energy transition. I wanted to get your opinion on Africa's place in that conversation, whether Africa should be pushed towards going towards renewables, or because Africa is such a fossil fuel dependent nation, should stick to its guns and say we're still going to invest in fossil fuels. How did you view that whole conversation for the year?
It's very, very topical, and it's an ongoing conversation that will keep going from 2022 to 2030 and even the rest. So for Africa, should Africa join this campaign for climate change? Well, again, it depends. Africa does not have the investment to drill its own fossil fuel. We don't have the kind of money we need. So we depend on international organizations for funds. We depend on IOCs for funds to do majority of our extraction, exploration, drilling of oil fields. So if we choose to, whether we choose to continue or not does not really depend on us, because we really don't have everything in our baskets. We don't have the investments to do this. Those who have the investment are saying they are moving away from fossil fuel to climate to cleaner energy. And for them, I mean, fossil fuel is primarily the cause of the current climate change we are witnessing, altering the Earth's ecosystem, causing human and environmental health issues. So most companies are moving towards economic sustainable goals, moving towards investments that are viable, investments that have no huge health consequences to mankind. So do Africa need to join this train? Well, basically it depends, like I said, but it's not in our hands. It currently rests on the hands of the international organization. So if we choose to move to cleaner energies as well, it's really not in our hands. But most African countries are beginning to join this train. And in the long run, I think the earlier we join, the better we can attract the kind of investments for our oil, for our natural resources, and then we can join the rest of the world in moving towards climate change.
All right, thank you very much for that. Also, Dipo, I'd like to ask you this. The petroleum industry bill was signed this year. So after so many years, can Nigeria still get anything from it? Or, is it too late?
Well, It's not too late. It's really not too late. It's better late than never, like they say. Well, the petroleum industry bill was much awaited, very, very long time, more than 20 years, and now it's finally here. So we're still going to see one or two deals in fossil fuel, in exploring Nigeria's crude oil. Remember, I think it was a few weeks ago, ENI launched a very big project, a high in a very big project in Ivory Coast, I think about $11 billion. So we are going to see one or two companies still pumping, especially realizing that the forecast for demands for petroleum product is still very, very high. Most OPEC is forecasting that oil demand is expected to grow, even despite the challenges surrounding energy transitions and the rest of it. Yeah, so it's not too late, but we should still be able to get enough to boost some of our investments, especially realizing that we have a lot of rigs, a lot of assets that are waiting for huge or large investments for them to kick off. So we should still be able to get something from it. I'm very positive about that.
All right. Thank you very much for that.
Now, will the whole climate change debate, could that impact what we get from the Petroleum Industry Act, or could that deter investments coming in?
Yes, it would. It would definitely, because again, the climate change debate is moving away from the boardroom now to the practical realities of majority of the international oil companies. Majority of the international oil companies no longer want to be regarded as an exploration firm alone. Majority of them are transiting into energy firm. Even Nigeria Seplat no longer wants to be called just an exploration company. They now want to be regarded as an energy company. So this transition is also going down to their investments as well. If you look at majority of the IOC's outlook for next year, investment into oil exploration has nosedived a lot, and we are beginning to see growing investment into renewables. Renewables investments grew from 2019, 2020, and we also saw an increase in 2021 as well. This kind of increase is going to continue. For oil exploration, is going to reduce. For Nigeria, again, it depends on the environment. Is it safe enough for investments to come in? If it's not safe, then, they'll easily go to areas that are safe, areas that are not prone to attacks, and then they will see how much they can, because the time window is very short. And so everyone is trying to make the best they can while the offer is available. So whether your country is now safe enough is a different ballgame for the international investors. But definitely, it will definitely impact. We should see a lot of impacts in investment in oil exploration next year.
All right, good stuff. Don't forget, guys, if you're out there and you want to be a part of our conversation, please send us that message. Send it to 0809-444-0981. And also, you can catch us streaming live on YouTube. Okay, so check it out. It's youtube.com/smooth981. Real quick, Dipo, let's talk about insecurity. So Total Energies abandoned its $20 billion LNG product in Mozambique due to terrorist attacks this year, So there's a lot that's going on as far as insecurity is concerned. So the big question is insecurity still a major headwind for oil and gas industry, particularly here in Africa?
Yes. It's pretty much is because the higher the insecurity, the higher your risk profile as a country. And most of these risk profile are factored in when considering investment decisions. So when a major firm when a major oil and gas company wants to do their investments, they run a risk profile of the country they are going into. How safe is it? What's the political risks? What's the environmental risks? What's the social risks? And a whole lot of other factors will be considered. So yes, will it continue to be a major headwind in the oil and gas industry in Africa? Well, yes, especially now that, again, investments, a lot of countries are jostling for investments. Guyana is there, a very small country that is gradually becoming the diamond for investments. We have other countries as well who are doing one or two big things. And so while would you rather put your money in a place where you are not sure of, or you put your money in a place where you are sure of? For most investors, especially international or institutional investors, a very key thing for them is certainty. Once there's an element of uncertainty in the business environment, they pull out. Once you can't guarantee your investments, you're putting in your money and you're not sure you're going to get it out, it's going to be a huge investment. So which is why when you see pre-election year in African countries or post-election year in African countries, it's always the same period where you find a slow or a downward trend in terms of investments, because those periods are always considered to be high risk periods in most African countries. Next year, Nigeria is entering a pre-election year, so we should expect that kind of development to also occur as well.
Great stuff. I wanted to quickly touch on the NNPC. Another headline that was made this year in oil and gas. NNPC announcing that it would take I think 20% stake in the Dangote refinery. Is that still looking at that move? Did it make sense?
We've had this conversation before during the course of the year, and I mean, we can do all the analysis. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it what's in need for Nigerians? If NNPC is investing 20% stake, is this the first time it's happening? Well, the truth is actually not. Saudi Aramco, for instance, also have investments in one or two private institutions as well. So it's really not a bad move. The most important thing is, what are the details of this contract? Is it this 20% stake? Is it cash? Is it crude for oil swap? These details will go a long way in clarifying to Nigerians that, this is what we stand to gain. Those are our expectations. So if Dangote Refinery, for instance, at the end of the calendar year is declaring dividend, or what's the process like? How do they take this money they are making from the 20% stake? Are you investing it back into the economy? Are you investing it in your own refineries? Are you building new refineries? Are you investing in energy transition? So it's what we make of it that really matters. The move is good, but then just like every good move in Nigeria, what's the outcome? Can we really be sure that we are going to see the ripple effects back into the economy? If yes, then it's a smart move. But if it's just on paper that NNPC has acquired 20% stake, I mean, my grandmother in the village will ask me, so what's in it for her? So it's Nigerians need to know what's in it for them. Are we getting infrastructure? Are we getting assets? That's it basically. So time will tell whether it's a bluff. On paper, it sounds good, sounds brilliant. It means they are forward thinking, and it means they are beginning to understand the term private equity or private investment as well. So it's a good one.
Got a few messages here. This one from Ogenel Chuku. He says, what is the prospect of gas production in this new dispensation? Tikbo, you want to respond to that?
So the prospect of gas production is big, is huge. Nigeria is currently have one of the biggest gas reserves, if not the biggest in Africa, and the sixth in the world as well. So the prospect is big, again, extremely very big. And Nigeria declared a decade of gas just earlier this year, running from 2021 to year of 2030. So the idea is we have lots of gas assets. Thankfully, we have a PIA as well that puts clarity in terms of investing specifically in gas. So what we need to do now is, the potential is there. We need to do what it takes to provide the right kind of investment environment, put the right incentive there. Already we have a very good law now, which we don't have before. So from next year, all we need to do is, do what it takes to attract the big guys in investing in our gas system. We have the Nigerian liquefied natural gas, the LLNG project, which seems very good. We have a Train 7 coming up as well. So all of these projects this year as well, we have the the AKK pipeline as well, another very interesting gas project as well. So all of these projects have a big deal in Nigeria's gas system or gas network. So what we need to do is just put the right investments climates there, and then we'll see the right investments, and then we'll explore. We'll have much exploration, and we'll solve the problems concerning domestic gas distribution in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much for that.
How much more time do we have?
We got just 1 minute. So Rotus, you want to take the last two questions real quick?
Very quick. Okay, I guess since we're talking about gas, Diko, what do you make of the government earlier this year saying that they will convert 1 million cars from petrol to compressed natural gas? Is that a pipe dream or is that a reality? 30 seconds if you can.
Okay, so it was a brilliant idea, but what's the infrastructure in place? We have zero infrastructure. So yes, the government made the announcement, just like any other announcement. The announcement was majority of NNPC's filling station are going to start having CNG assets or CNG distribution pipelines in their stations. Till now, nothing. So we had a good announcement, but what were the infrastructure we put in place to back up this? Zero in terms of infrastructure. So what are we going to do? We can't just, conversion will not happen by mere talk alone. You have to put in the infrastructure. But if you don't put in the infrastructure, we're not going to do, apart from that announcement, we've not heard anything. We've not, what's the progress like? Do we have up to 100,000? Do we have up to 200,000? Do we have up to 300,000? Absolutely not. The few guys who are pumping money there are complaining over time that the government is not putting the right incentive for them. And some of them are threatening to pull out from next year. So it's again, next year, it's government should match intentions with actions, not just intentions. Intentions alone will not make us survive in the energy sector. We need more actions. They did a lot this year, but then we can do better next year.
All right, gentlemen, we're totally out of time. But real quick, though, let me just take this message from Yinka Bolu. He says, NNPC that can't properly run a business, never contribute its own quota in JVs, then suddenly wants to acquire a stake in Dangote Refinery. Same set of people with same eat-all mindset are still in the system. I hope they don't fight. I hope fight doesn't burst out during one of the board meetings. Then he further says, fuel to gas for cars. Let me eat first. 12 kg for 9K. All right, so that's it. I mean, that's our show today. That's our show today. Rotus, thank you so much as always. Always a pleasure having you here.
And thank you so much. Thanks to our guest, Dikpo Oladinde, and oil and gas analyst. Dikpo, thanks for taking the time to join us today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any day.
Lagos, there is more to come in a few more minutes after the Business Express show, of course. It's going to be great music from 7. And then after that comes Freshly Pressed 981. So I recommend that you stay with us to be a part of detailed analysis. This is Smooth.